What's up, guys? Today we're going to talk about UFC fighters who might need a little shakeup to get their careers back on track. Whether it's struggling to break through in their division, having a tough time standing out, or just getting wrecked by tough weight cuts, switching weight classes could be the move. Sometimes all it takes is a fresh start to remind people why these fighters are still dangerous. So let's get into it. Alright, first up on the list is Johnny Walker. This one's been talked about a lot, so I just want to give my 2 cents. Look, man, Mr. Walker, why haven't you moved up to the heavyweight division yet? It's not rocket science. Fans love watching you fight. We love the excitement, but we also hate to see you get knocked out. And in the same time, it's kind of entertaining, so we don't really hate it, but we do feel bad. And let's be real, it happens a lot. Your chin just doesn't hold up at 205, and defensively, you're not really there. I'm not trying to be disrespectful here. I'm just being honest. You've been knocked out by so many top guys in the division. Magomed Ankalaev, Jamal Hill, Volkan Ozdemir. The list goes on. So why are you still hanging around at the light heavyweight division, man? Everyone sees it. Everyone's been saying it. It's time to go up to heavyweight in 2025. And 2025 should be the year where you bulk up and show us what you can do against the big boys. I'm telling you, you wreck a lot of people up there. And there are some absolutely bangers waiting for you. Imagine you against Curtis Blades or a Tai Tuivasa. Those fights will be insane. Plus, at heavyweight, you could give us some highlight reels for days. Flying knees, Superman punches, the stuff you're known for. Now, don't get me wrong, it can totally go the other way, and you might end up getting completely disintegrated. But why not take the risk? You're not getting any younger, man. This can open a new chapter in your career, one where you actually find success and prove a lot of people wrong. Alright, another guy I would love to see make a move, and I'm really hoping he does because it can set up some interesting matchups. And that person is Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Wonderboy is a big welterweight, and let's be honest, he's slowed down just a little bit. He's 1-4 in his last 5 fights, with the last win against a notable contender coming in like 2022 against Kevin Holland. Since then, he's been getting out-grappled and even knocked out recently. And man, looking at the welterweight division right now, there's really aren't many exciting stylistic matchups left for him. That's why I think he should consider moving up to the middleweight division. There are so many fun strikers in that division. Just like MVP, Sharputin Magomedov, Paulo Costa, Jerry Cannonier, and even Israel Adesanya. Now, I'm not saying that this would completely revive his career, but these matchups could definitely get his blood pumping. Wonderboy still's got that speed advantage, and he's always been one of the faster welterweights. Against other strikers, we'd get to see the version of Wonderboy that fans love to see. You know, the technical, flashy, and unpredictable. It would be cool to see him in fresh, exciting fights while avoiding grapplers who have given him trouble. With that being said, the next fighter I would love to see drop down at a weight class is actually Jailton Almeida. Now, you might be thinking, why? He's already thriving in the heavyweight division. Now, that's true. But let's not forget, he's a natural 205 pounder. And if you ask me, if Jailton made the cut to the light heavyweight division, he would dominate the 205 division. The 205 division lacks elite grapplers, and Jailton's style is the closest thing we've ever seen to a Khabib at a higher weight class. He absolutely drowns heavyweights, and I believe he'd have no trouble making the 205 limit. If I were Jailton, I'd focus on winning the light heavyweight belt first. It's arguably a tougher division than the heavyweight division, and with his skill set, he could clear out most of the competition. His grappling would likely overwhelm guys like Yuri Prohaska, Khalil Roundtree, and Jan Blachowicz. In fact, the only real challenge for him might be Magomed Ankalaev, Jamal Hill, and maybe Alexander Rakic. Even then, I think he has the tools to hold his own. And as for Alex Pereira, Jailton arguably has the perfect style to dethrone him as well. I just think overall, Jailton's stock and star power would skyrocket if he moved down to 205. That division has way bigger names compared to the heavyweight division, and he has a chance to really build his aura there. At light heavyweight, he'll be more competitive against more recognizable and established fighters, which would elevate his profile even more. Imagine the buzz around him if he dominated guys like Yuri Prohaska, Alex Pereira, or Jan. Those are the kind of wins that solidify a legacy and turn a great fighter into a superstar. And look, man, at heavyweight, while he's doing amazing, the division doesn't have the same level of star power or depth. With all that being said, the next person on the list is Alex Volkanovski. I really want to see this guy move up to 155. I hope he doesn't fight Topuria again because, being real, I don't think he stands a chance. He's already been folded back to back, and I don't see that changing. The last thing I want to see is watch the greatest featherweight of all time get knocked out yet again. That would really suck, man. Volk still has it, but I think it's time for him to make a move. I don't think he wants to end up like Max Holloway in this weight class, being the second best and stuck in a spot where he can't get back on top. And honestly, I'd love to see him challenge himself in the lightweight division. Imagine him taking on someone like Charles Oliveira or Arman Tsarukyan. Those fights really intrigue me way more, and I believe he can hold his own. They're not guaranteed losses. In fact, they could be super competitive matchups. If he stays at featherweight, sure, there are some fun fights, maybe an Aljo or an Arnold Allen, but I don't think he'll ever reclaim the top spot. Moving to 155 would let him show what he's really capable of. Yeah, I get it. He got knocked out the second time against Islam, but the first fight was insanely close. It showed us just how good he can be in the lightweight division. And I honestly believe Volk can do great at 155 as long as he avoids heavy power punchers. Anyways, the next person we have on the list is none other than the Nigerian nightmare himself, Kamaru Usman. I really think it's time for him to move up to 185. At 170, I believe he has hit his ceiling. Now, in his third fight with Leon, you can see that he looked more hesitant, a bit slower. Sure, he still had that insane cardio and relentless pace, but I don't know, man. The welterweight division is evolving and it's getting tougher. We've got Belal as champ, guys like Sean Brady and Joaquin Buckley rising, and let's be real, Usman's knees aren't getting any better. Now, could he still make a run at the welterweight belt? Maybe, but honestly, I doubt it. I think he'll find way more success at 185. With Izzy no longer holding that title, Usman doesn't have an excuse not to move up. Plus, we've already seen him at 185 against Hamzat, and he honestly looked really good, and arguably could have won if the fight was a 5-round fight. And like I mentioned earlier, he's slowing down, but his skill set would translate so well to middleweight. I honestly think he fits perfectly like a glove in that weight class. If I were Usman, I'd skip that JDM fight altogether and go straight up to 185. And let's be real, JDM will break and beat Usman, and that's not the fight that he needs right now. Give this man a Cajo Brahajo fight instead. The middleweight division is full of exciting matchups for him. Imagine Usman versus Dricus du Plessis, a rematch with Sean Strickland, or a fight against Paulo Costa or Nasruddin Imavov. Stylistically, these are all intriguing fights, and I generally think he has a better chance of capturing a title at 185 than he does at 170. It's the perfect time for him to make that move and remind everyone why he's one of the best in the game. Anyways, up next we got Cory the Sandman Hagen, and let's be real, this guy is one of the most well-rounded fighters at 135 pounds. He can box, kickbox, grapple, he can do it all. But as much success as he found at the bantamweight division, he always seems to fall short against the very top guys. He lost to Aljo, he lost to Peter Yan, and TJ Dillashaw. It's like he's the Ash Ketchum of MMA, always so close, but never quite catching them all. That's why I want to see Cory move up to 145. He's a massive bantamweight, 5'11" with a 7-inch reach, and his frame fits much better at featherweight, where the fighters are closer to his size. I truly believe he thrives in that division. Historically, fighters move up tend to perform better, and Cory might be no different. I think he cuts too much weight at 135, which could be why we've seen him struggle with grapplers at times. Sure, he can get back to his feet, but at 145, he could add more muscle. You know what I'm saying? He can add more muscle mass, improving his strength, and become a better grappler overall. Plus, just think about the matchups we can get. Cory versus Arnold Allen, or even Cory against an Alex Volkanovski. Those are the kind of fights that can truly show how good he is. And honestly, I'm more intrigued to see how he does at the featherweight division than watch him stay at 135, where the ceiling feels capped. And move up could be exactly what he needs to take his career to the next level. Next up on the list is Charles Oliveira. Now, you're probably thinking, why suggest a move? He's doing great at 155. And hear me out, that's true. He's improved a ton, especially when it comes to his wrestling. It's come a long way. His grappling is sharper than ever, and he's been thriving. But hear me out. I think Charles could do amazing at 170. And honestly, I think his chances of winning a championship there might be better. Here's why. Islam Makhachev beats Charles Oliveira 9 times out of 10. And Arman Tsarukyan already beat him. Probably gets the better of him every time too. Though it will be really close. I just don't see Charles reclaiming the lightweight title from those two. Meanwhile, the welterweight division offers a lot of potential for him. Many of the top guys at 170 don't have elite Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, outside of maybe a Sean Brady or a Ian Gary, and Charles' Jiu-Jitsu is world class. He has the most submissions in UFC history for a reason. Plus, Charles Oliveira is huge for 155. We've seen him barely make the weight, practically killing himself to get to the limit. Imagine a stronger, slightly bulkier Charles Oliveira at welterweight. He'd be a real problem. Fighters like Bilal Muhammad would have to be extremely cautious about picking their shots if they dare to take him down, that is. And honestly, I'd love to see him give 170 a shot. Think about the matchups. Charles versus Kobe, Kamaru Usman, or even a Shavkat Rakhmonov. Those are fights that can elevate his legacy and show us a new dimension to his game. At this stage in his career, why not take the risk and see how far he can go in a new weight class, you know what I mean? Alright, let's talk about the last guy on the list, Paulo Costa. This man desperately needs to move up to the 205-pound division. Now, let's be honest, Costa has hit a wall at middleweight. He's already lost to almost every top contender in the division: Sean Strickland, Israel Adesanya, Robert Whittaker, and Marvin Vettori. At this point, it's safe to say his run at 185 is done. Plus, there's a whole new wave of middleweights coming up, and if you're losing to someone like Marvin Vettori, no disrespect, you're cooked. That's just the truth. Now, moving up to 205 might sound a bit risky because Costa isn't exactly a big light heavyweight compared to some of the monsters in that division. He's on the smaller side. But hear me out. I actually think he could hold his own against certain guys. He could potentially beat fighters like a Johnny Walker or a freaking Volkan Ozdemir. And here's the thing. At 205, with less of a weight cut, he might actually carry more power. Let's be real, his striking at 185 has been lackluster in terms of knockout power. Those weight cuts might have drained him. If I'm Costa, I make the move now. His time in the middleweight division, top 15, is ticking. And if he stays, he'll be fighting the young guns who would only push him further out of relevancy. At 205, at least he'll get a fresh start, and who knows? Maybe with a full gas tank and a healthier frame, he could make some noise. Yeah, those are the fighters I'd love to see move up or down a weight class next year. Hopefully some of these actually happen. It would be awesome to see how they do in their new division. If I missed anyone, drop it in the comments down below and let me know. And if you liked the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.